My name is Jamie. I'm the Commercial Director at AdaCore. And what I hope to do is perhaps give you a little bit of an idea of where we're heading as a company. This is important because it's shaped by you guys. Okay, it's as simple as that. So without further ado, let's launch into it. It's all too friendly at the moment, guys. We have a number of engineers here. You will see that. Sorry, yep, there we go. Some of us at AdaCore have stickers like this on our badges, which will give you an idea of the technology that people are specialised in. Please harass them. Please ask any questions you have. This is your event. You know, we're not here to push ideas onto you. We want interaction. So get nasty with them. And as Rob was saying, there's plenty of opportunity for that. Don't leave without any unasked questions, please. And of course, the commercial team is here in force as well. So if you need to discuss anything to do with your subscription or where we're heading in the future, we're available as well. There are a number of experts with us. So I'm going to call out a few. GNAT Pro. Who's an expert at GNAT Pro here at AdaCore? Please stand up. Stop chatting at the back. Who's an expert in GNAT Pro? Okay, right. So there you go. GPS. Who's an expert in GPS? There we go. Spark. There we go. I guess you've kind of noticed that Arno just basically stands up the whole time. Copier. There we go. Coverage. GNAT coverage. A little bit lucky there, okay. QGen. Great. Okay, LibAdaLang. Yay. And cybersecurity. And a lot of what you'll see as well is that we have presentations on a number of these subjects. So we'll go into much more detail than I'm able to provide. But yeah, we just want to make sure that you guys understand where we're heading. The technical guys are here to answer your questions, so please go ahead and interact with them. We also have some goodies, and I'm glad to see they're disappearing. Apart from doing my knees in, putting in the power strips that apparently nobody is using, I also managed to pull a few muscles in my back carrying boxes of books. So we don't want to have to repeat that exercise, so please take as many as you want. We can also send them to you. So if you see some, well, basically if you don't want to do your back in, let us know and we'll send them to directly to your office. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about AdaCore's strategy. For the last 3 or 4 years, we've been developing 2 axes to take AdaCore forward. One of those is what we call our strengthening strategy. So our core business is Ada, and it always will be Ada. We've been very much involved in aerospace and defense, rail, industries that takes software fairly seriously. And that's our motto, as you know. You probably see this behind me. But what we're looking to do is to take what we provide, which, when it comes down to it, is technology that can grow and be used and adapted to your needs, combined with the exceptional support services, even though I'll say it myself. But hopefully you find that as well. The great thing about AdaCore is the people. The technology is good, but the people are even better. So what we're finding is more and more customers are asking us to grow our offer from a technological point of view. Hello, come in, come and join us. No? From a technological point of view, so that it covers more of the requirements that you have to build software that matters. Okay, we're also looking at, and I'll go into this a little bit later on in the presentation, taking Ada into different markets. I think we've probably seen some of the weird and wonderful stuff. Bob was talking about it earlier, that other industries are trying to do, and this will be achievable through software. And so Ayre is making a name for itself because of its generic qualities. Some may say that the world is catching up with Ayre, and that's a good thing, because I certainly wouldn't want to get in a Jeep that can be controlled remotely through the radio, whichever radio station you may wish to plug into. So just to give you some examples of how we are strengthening our offer for you guys, I'm going to talk about AdaCore Assurance, C++, and then our mentorship services very briefly. There will be more in-depth presentations on these. But what we noticed is, for example, with AdaCore Assurance, a lot of our customers were coming to us saying, we don't want the latest and greatest. That isn't A&D. What we want is a stable version that we can build our software on, eliminate the bugs, and basically not touch it. Hence the idea of AdaCore Assurance. Now, what AdaCore Assurance allows you to do is you guys select the branch of the technology that you're happy with. Okay, it's not AdaCore saying we can do it on this platform, we can do it on this branch. It's you guys saying to us, we're happy now. We don't want you to touch anything else. We don't need the latest and greatest. So what will happen is that we will fork you a branch off, and then we'll provide critical fixes which can also help with critical problem analysis. So that allows, and when we sustain these branches, we sustain them for many, many years. So it should hopefully be able to allow you guys to see out the life cycle of your product and naturally upgrade when new hardware and processors comes through. Okay, so that's AdaCore Assurance. There's an example of how it works. So we have our main branch 18.0, which is the pre-release, the wavefront. I think I just spammed you all with an email about that recently. We then will fork off, say, at 18.0, 18.1, in the usual release cycle. And then it may be that you guys want to select a specific branch that will continue along the version that you've chosen. So 18.2, 18.3, 18.4, and 18.5, so on and so on and so on. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to ask us. We're finding it's more and more attractive for a large number of our customers. Dare I say it, C and C++, I suppose I shouldn't after Rob's presentation, but obviously a lot of you guys are using multi-language and building multi-language software. GNAT, thanks to the GCC backend, has always had a C and C++ compiler, but what we're looking at now is providing the full-on services and support that you're used to with the Ayre side of things for C and C++. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, in reality, we already have C++ native platforms, both on Linux and Windows. We're looking at adding RTOS support in 2019, so that's either embedded Linux or WinRiver, VxWorks. That will run probably from 6.9 through to 7.0. So don't hesitate to ask us if you have any questions about that. And of course, just to go back to the assurance product, it's available for, I say, all languages and platforms. Theoretically, it can be. In practice, it's probably 99.8%. Sorry. The main thing about this is that we want to know about your needs, and we want to accompany you through the life cycle of your project. So don't hesitate to talk to us about software, hardware updates and stuff like that, your plans. And if we can get them into our roadmap, we'll be more than happy to do that. Okay, services for the discerning developer. So I'm not going to go into this too much because Michelle will be doing a great presentation about it later on. We've noticed that, especially for the newer tools we're bringing out, such as GNAT coverage, CodePeer, there is a certain amount of adaptation and adoption costs that you guys go through to get them optimized. So what we've done is put in place a mentorship services program that will allow you to hopefully set up the tools so that they work best in your specific case. Once again, it's about your needs. So I won't say any more about that because Michelle will be presenting that later on. We are beefing up our RTOS support. I mean, what's nice is that you've seen some of our bare metal stuff running at the back of the room. And especially in Europe, we're seeing that bare metal is becoming more and more of a requirement because of the runtimes that Ayre can provide. But of course, one of our major partners, Wind River, has been very, very useful to us and has introduced us to a lot of programs, and together, we're very tightly knit on the platforms that we provide. Who's using VxWorks here, by the way? Great, that's good to see. So we now offer 6.7.653 support on ARM, Intel and PowerPC. That's 32 and 64 bits. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be bringing out C++ support in 2019. LinksOS, is anybody using LinksOS in the room? Okay, well, just to say we do support it. The reason I picked these two RTOSs out is because it's going to be a great presentation by our friend Mr. Bosgall on FACE, and those, of course, would be FACE compliant platforms. We can't do it all, obviously. We'd love to, but it's probably better for you guys that there is a healthy ecosystem out there. There are other compiler vendors. I'll not mention those by name. But we have a very healthy partnership and partner ecosystem. Here's just a few of them. But what's been interesting for us over the last few years is their renewed interest in providing Ayre support and Ayre products. Clearly, for whatever reason, they see the economics behind it and their offers. So I invite you to go and have a look at their websites, contact them if you don't already know them. So the other thing that AdaCore is doing is taking Ayre and promoting Ayre in various communities. I'll go into the more grassroots, newer markets, but obviously FACE is a community that we've been involved in right from the beginning, thanks to Doug. Doug, can you just stand up, wave your hand? Okay, so Doug is part of the FACE committee. So if you have any questions about FACE, Doug and Ben are your people. I'll not go further, but what this is doing is taking Ayre, obviously, to the defense community and reaffirming it as a modern language. So I'll not say any more about that because Ben will go into it, and I think we're probably all getting quite hungry now. We're also trying to promote Ayre to new markets, and we've done lots of different things to help us. We've always had an academic offer. So if you know any professors in your networks that you would like to push to teach Ayre, don't hesitate to contact us. Our GAP program, which is an academic program, has tools, support, and resources for academics. I think we're currently, Jesse, at about 250 academics signed up around the world. Great. So, link to that, because these are the guys that are going to be creating the future engineers, hopefully Ayre engineers, down the line. We also are able to use a number of social networks to promote any job offerings you have. For example, the LinkedIn Ayre group now, I think, is about 2,700. Hopefully, you're all members. But we can certainly post job offers on that through Reddit and various other sources as well. LinkedIn is probably the best that we use, and a number of customers have done that with us. So don't hesitate if you are looking for engineers. We also have, I would say, with probably 15, 20 universities, very close relationships. So if you are looking for get people into your graduate schemes or so on and so forth, we know some good budding software engineers. So as I say, I think the main thing about, oops, well, there we go, where's the main thing about this slide is, we're interested, we know that what we're interested in is software engineering, not necessarily coders, and a good software engineer can program in any language and can learn any language. It's the principles that they learn early on or through their, early on in their career that then allows them to do this. So that's why, we're very keen on helping the academics around the globe. Cybersecurity. So, where to start? It's a beast of a subject. It's also means many things to many people. What I can say, without mentioning any names, is that Ayre and Spark have got a very good reputation here. And we've been in contact with a number of customers that quite simply we wouldn't have been in contact with unless they were interested in the cybersecurity story that Ayre and Spark provide. We hope to be able to announce that early next year, Quentin. The big name ticket that's interested in cyber. Oh, good. So keep your eyes pinned on the website, but that really is, well, I call it a game changer because the size of the company and importance of the company that's looking to, is adopting Ayre and Spark is very interesting. And we also have customers that have come to us because of the cybersecurity story, but learn more about reliability and safety, which just reassures them in their choice. As we said earlier, there's a lot of people trying to do some weird and wonderful things that is quite scary. And they understand that software can really help them in that domain. Right. We do actually have a webinar by Rob, if you want to get some more hear some more of his voice. Interesting webinar. With security, I was speaking to somebody earlier. The main problem can be the person sat in the chair opposite the keyboard. There are tools to help them, and we believe Ayre and Spark can help that. And Rob delves into that in this webinar. That's available. I think that's available on our website now, right, guys? Yeah, it's on our website in the webinar section. We also have copies of, were they put in the bags? So yeah, we also have copies of this report that BDC wrote. Now, we've been convinced, if you look at the total cost of ownership, or total cost of project, we've been convinced for many, many years that Ayre is a very, very viable solution. Fortunately, BDC thought the same thing as well. They do a number of global studies, if you don't know them, on software engineering practices, software tooling companies, and that kind of stuff, which allows them to work out total cost of ownership of building software in a number of languages. This report goes into that. We found it incredibly useful. Well, I think it's probably been sent to a number of you already, but this is really good if you've got managers saying, Ayre. This is a really good tool to convince them that yes, because it talks their language, money. But yeah, if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to ask myself or Quentin. Because we've used it in a number of situations, both with existing customers and in the new markets and new prospects that we're talking to. So this is just a slide to give you an idea of some of the companies that have been convinced by the Ayre message. And you'll see that there are a number of industries represented. ANSSI is actually the French security agency. And they've done a number of projects using Ayre and Spark. Obviously security projects. The latest was a secure USB key called Wookiee. You always have to get a Star Wars reference. But that's available. Yannick, is the paper available on the Wookiee? Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's available on our website, or you can go in the blog and you'll see some of the work they've been doing. Last, of course, is space. Now, we have a very, very strong space story in Europe. We've kind of been lacking behind in North America, but we're seeing that growing now, which is great. And LASP is the perfect example of that. Real heart, so medical devices. Talking about weird and wonderful things that people want to do, this is an artificial heart. What's nice about this is that the guys did a technical study. It's a bunch of young guys. I think there are videos of his talk available on the internet, but it's fascinating because they looked at the technology, made a choice, and then convinced the investors that it was the right choice, rather than the other way around, the investors say, no, we can't use Ayre, you've got to use more common languages and stuff like that. So that's a really nice, and that hopefully, I think they're now into animal testing, into the animal testing phase, and that should be marketed hopefully next year. Denso is, has anybody heard of Denso? So they're probably the biggest tier one car supplier in the world, a Japanese company. And they are looking at how Ada and Spark can help them with some of the systems. As Bob was saying, the complexity of automotive systems is ginormous. And one of the studies they worked on was using Spark to prevent freedom from interference. So you've got all these systems, as he was showing, that can be linked. Well, sometimes you don't want them to interfere with each other. So Denso did a study using Spark to prevent that. We do have a lot of resources on the website. I do encourage you to go there. And we're also looking for ideas. You know, learn.adacore.com, which is the new website. I'm not going into that because I think there's going to be a presentation on it. Came about because of people saying to us, it'd be great to have a website where people can learn Ayre, the basics of Ayre. But we have a lot of other resources. So go and take a look at our website. And if you do need anything specific or you have any ideas, then let us know, yeah? Okay, so as I say, you know, Ayre is going to be our focus, and you'll see many presentations, and you've seen many presentations over the year of how we're diversifying, but Ayre will continue to be our focus. It drives pretty much everything we do. And yeah, that's the marketing bit. Exceptional customer support is our business. But it's true because the intimacy that we gain through the customer support we provide, and I can assure you of this, it directly influences the strategy of the company. So to finish off, please continue to help us grow. Please continue to interact. And let us know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong and what we can do better. Thank you.